Hi everyone, welcome to our tasting from home. As most of you already know, every month we pick 6 wines and we offer 15% off. And you can link to the video to know a little bit more about the wine at your leisure. So let's get started. In our March 6 pack, the very first one we have is the Crémant d'Alsace Brut, non-vintage. That's from les Vignobles Ruhlmann Schutz. The Vignobles Ruhlmann Schutz are in Alsace. I always like to get started with showing you a little bit about France with Paris right in the middle. And Alsace is on bordering Germany. We have the actual vineyards, or I should say winery, is in Dambark-la-Ville, right in the middle of the Rhine route. Again, we have Germany on the right-hand side, the Vosges Mountain bordering on the left. Maud Ruhlmann started out the vineyard with her husband, and when he passed in the 90s, André Ruhlmann, his son, came back to the vineyard to help out. He is in charge of the winemaking. Jean-Victor Schutz, the son-in-law, with her with her daughter, also came back and creating the Vignoble Ruhlmann Schutz. So the whole family is there. The next generation is we got Jacques-Émile Ruhlmann, who's in charge of also helping his father making wine, and Antoine Schutz is in charge of developing the sales abroad. And we actually have a little video of Antoine telling us about the Crémant.
Hello everyone, my name is Antoine. I'm one of the sons of the Ruhlmann Schutz family, and I will speak a little bit about the Crémant d'Alsace Ruhlmann that you have in Texas. So to speak about that, we are located right now in our Crémant facility, and I will show you how we do the Crémant. So first, we harvest some grapes. This is in September, and for the Crémant Brut, we will harvest Riesling, Pinot Gris, and Pinot Blanc Auxerrois, which is the main grape variety that we use. And then after that, we will have the juice taken here in our facility. So you have all those stainless steel tanks located here, and it's where we will do the blending to make the vin de base. So the vin de base is the wine, the wine for the base of the Crémant. It's still not, it's a still wine, it's not sparkling. We will do that here, and then we will do wine bottling, and we will fill the bottle of the Crémant with the vin de base, and we will add some yeast, and then we will store all the bottle right here. So it's when we store the Crémant on lath, and this will wait for about 12 months, and during those 12 months there will be the second fermentation in the bottle that makes the sparkling. After that, we will put those bottles into some other cases, and we will do the remuage, and the remuage is our 8 remueur that's here, that will put all the yeast on the bottom of the bottle, and then we will do the disgorging, and then we will ship the wine to Texas. So now we are in our tasting room, in our winery, and we will taste some Crémant d'Alsace. So the Crémant Brut that you have is our traditional Crémant, and it's a blend of 4 grape variety. It's mainly Pinot Blanc Auxerrois, but we also add a little bit of Riesling to bring some acidity, and some Pinot Gris to bring some fruitness. So let's taste. So what we like in this Crémant is that we want to have very fine bubble. On the nose it smells some notes of pear, apple. You also have a smoky nose, and then in the mouth, it's very aromatic, very pleasant. You have the very fine bubble that goes all around your mouth, and then you have this nice acidity that comes from the Riesling to make this Crémant a very elegant wine. So, like I said in the video before, it's 12 months on lath, and it's méthode traditionnelle, exactly like champagne, and that's how we like to make our Crémant Brut signature Jean-Charles. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. The second wine of the month is actually from Nicolas Brunet in the Loire Valley. We have a Vouvray 2015, 100% Chenin Blanc. So we have right here the map of the Loire, and it extends all the way from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the right to Sancerre. Vouvray is in yellow right here, and Vouvray is very much famous for their Chenin Blanc with lots of minerality. This is Nicolas Brunet, who took over the vines from his father Georges. Nicolas is a ninth generation winemaker, and they have been farming the land, and this is their cellar. It's right into the mountain. It's really dark, right into the mountain, which is a limestone, so constant temperature year long. Funny thing is, as you know, I was talking to Nicolas, and he was telling me that whenever they need more room in the cellar, they just take out the jackhammer and just dig a little deeper. Chenin Blanc is believed to have originated in the Loire Valley around the 9th century. Vouvray creates wine from that are can go from very dry to extremely sweet, and it really has a really beautiful acidity, and it has aging potential up to 100 years old, depending on the wine. So Chenin Blanc really ages really well, especially in those mineral soil, in those limestone soil, I should say. So again, with this wine is 100% Chenin Blanc. It's strictly stainless steel tanks. We don't want any oak on there. We want to keep the freshness of the Chenin. We got indigenous yeast. What do we mean by indigenous yeast? Well, a lot of winemakers, especially more conventional methods, will buy prepackaged yeast. The advantage is that they can put in whatever flavors they want in the wine, and also have a more constant product, which is, for some winemakers very important. But you do lose the aspect of the terroir. So when you use indigenous yeast, it's yeast that are present in the vineyard, but also in the cellar. And in this case, when you have a cellar that is several generations old, it has created an identity into the wine for itself. No chaptalization. Vouvray, they are allowed, because of it's very cool weather, I would say, they are allowed to chaptalize their wine, meaning adding sugar. In this case, at Nicolas Brunet, we do not add any sugar at all. And he will go as far as waiting till picking day to decide whether he's going to create a dry Vouvray or a sweet Vouvray, or even a demi-sec, that particular vintage. So 2015 obviously was a dry vintage. We get a sort of clay and limestone and flint soil, and I know that you can tell, by tasting that wine, you can taste that flint in there. Manual harvest, super important. When they are manually in harvesting, they are making sure that they are only picking up the good grapes. You got no leaves, no insects and snails get caught in there, and so only good grapes go into the tank. And it's pretty small production, 18,000 bottles produced in 2015. Aging potential, talking to Nicolas, 25 plus years. So this one will, be good to drink at least in 2040, not 1940, 2040. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes, kept in the right condition, it goes further. On the nose, we have some white flower in quince, and mouthfeel is pear, quince, little saffron, and as you can tell, lots of mineral notes. Unfortunately, I could not get Nicolas to send us a video on time. I might change that later on. Thank you. But I hope that you enjoy this Vouvray, and we will go from there. Second white wine is from Domaine Rouge Bleu. Most of you are familiar with Domaine Rouge Bleu, a very favorite vigneron in the Rhone Valley. And they make this beautiful white wine, fairly small production, 4,000 bottles. They are located right above Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Châteauneuf-du-Pape is, right down the middle of the road. And so they're 10, 15 minutes from Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Our winemaker and owner, Caroline Jones, is originally from Australia. She's traveled the world and decided to settle down in the Rhone Valley with her husband, Thomas Bertrand. Thomas does help out with the winemaking, but he is the main labor. And but he has also worked a great deal of time in England in one of the largest wine store over there. This particular white wine is 13 white varietals. It's all co-planted. When they bought the property in 2011, they had this 1 hectare parcel of vine that was planted with 11 varietals of white, and they weren't quite sure what to do with it. They contemplated uprooting everything and replanting with more classic varietals because there was some Chardonnay in there, Sauvignon Blanc, which is definitely not part of the Rhone Valley. Instead, they decided to add 2 other varietals and have some fun with it as a clin d'oeil or wink to the 13 varietals of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So we got 13 white varietals in there. And we have Thomas that's going to tell us a little bit about that Dentelle Blanc.
So this vineyard, which looks relatively modern, is planted, is just over 13 years old, planted next to one of our oldest bush vine plots, planted in 1934, of beautiful Grenaches, red Grenache this time. Here everything is handled by hand, 100% is hand harvested. We harvest only in the morning to get the coolness of the night in the juice, and not only hand harvested but in small boxes, not more than 8 kilos, to prevent early oxidation and crushing of the fruit. So it will take about 3 days to harvest the equivalent of about 500 cases. That's 6,000 bottles that we produce today on the white Dentelle Blanc. Here on the more rocky side, we have chosen to plant the more drought-resistant vines. They are the one, originating native from the Rhone Valley, such as the Grenache Blanc, for example, which will make beautiful, juicy berries, lots of flavors, and grow very well despite the very drought conditions. And if I take you up a little bit on this area, you will find probably the most gorgeous of all the vines that we grow, the pink claret, which is absolutely beautiful. Big berries that will bring heaps of acidity, but also a lot of elegance, a lot of flavor. I hope you can see the magnificence of these berries in the video. It's a beautiful pink. When the sunlight goes through it in the morning, it's absolutely gorgeous to harvest. So as we walk through the vineyard, you should be able to see the different shape and sizes of berries. You have 13 different grape varietals, all planted on the same plots. A bit of a wacky, crazy project, which is paying off today. The idea behind this is to get, you know, some grapes, like here, Muscat is a very small, very ripe, see, kind of orangey golden. It will create grape, very concentrated juice, lots of sugar, so potentially high alcohol, not super interesting for our style of wine, but extremely aromatic. So this varietal we use for the aromatic, the fruitiness, and then here we have Roussanne, which is a very different grape, and as we can see, if we put the grape in the sun, much bigger, much juicier, and full of acidity. So these grapes are going to bring the drinkability in our wine. And the crazy project is usually you will find all the grapes that you need to blend on different plots, where here everything comes together, and we will therefore aim for medium maturity, average maturity around 12.5% alcohol only. And because different grapes ripen at different time, this will allow us to make a balanced and light wine that therefore tastes very fruity.
Our rosé this month is from les Vignobles Gueissard, and we have their Bandol 2019. We have not gotten no 2020s yet. By law, Bandol is not allowed to bottle till March 1st. So the advantage is that Bandol, even rosé, drinks extremely well with one vintage back. I actually think this one drinks much nicer than it did a year ago. It requires a little bit of time in bottle, and it's really beautiful right now. The Vignobles Gueissard are in Le Bosset. We have the Mediterranean Sea right here with Toulon, and the Bandol area is right there in the red. No, they're a little bit right north of the appellation. Pauline Giraud and his band Crémant Mine bought the vineyards in 2011. Well, I should say they actually started the vineyards 2011 because they started out from nothing. They bought 4 hectares of vine, and they started out of a co-owned facility with other vineyards, and since then they have built their own facility in Le Bosset. They are still farm everything very traditionally. As you see, they have horses plowing the land. They will bring in sheep in the winter to control the grass. So absolutely no use of herbicides. Super important here. A real respect for the environment. And they support local farmers. So they host a little farmers market at their facility. And yes, oysters is part of the farmers market. They're very lucky to be right there on the Mediterranean Sea. Lots of cheeses. We got four methods of making rosé. We have first one is most common in the Rhone Valley is the limited skin maceration, where very much similar to making a red wine, they'll break the grapes up and they will leave the juice on skin contact. As most of you know, all juices are white. What creates a red wine or a rosé in this case is the skin contact. So limited skin maceration, and they will just drain the tank before it turns red. And there's not any real regulations on how pink the wine should be. It's strictly a winemaker's decision. The second one is the saignée or bleeding method. Whereas the saignée or bleeding method in the past was used mainly to make red wines of stronger characteristic, because what would happen, they would start out with by making a red wine, and then they would bleed that excess juice to, and then in the tank would be left with just the remaining juice to create wine, red wines of stronger character. So in that case, the saignée method was creating a rosé that really a second thought. We were first trying to make a red wine of great quality, and the rosé was a byproduct. And then we have the direct pressing method, where they will put all the grapes in the pressing tank, and they will slowly press, and that will create a rosé, very light colored rosé, because there's almost no skin contact. In this case, we have for the Bandol, we have actually a combination of both saignée and direct pressing, because what we're going to do is that they are going to let the juice in contact, in contact with a small amount of time, and they will first bleed the tank, and then whatever is left in the tank, they will press. Now, and both those tanks will be actually aged separately, and then they will actually blend the two tanks, and not necessarily in the proportion of the juice yet, depending on the amount of color and what they're trying to accomplish. They might blend one tank more than the other. And then the very last way of making rosé is the blending method, where you actually blend white and red wine, and that is completely forbidden to make still rosé wine in France. This is reserved to make either sparkling rosé or champagne rosé. So I hope that you get a better understanding of the rosé, and we really love Vignobles Gueissard, and Pauline and Crémant do an amazing job, but I have been battering them to send me a video themselves, and they just can't find the time to do so. Maybe with their 2020 vintage, we'll see. I hope that you enjoy that rosé. In this case, this rosé is made of 60% Mourvèdre, which brings the structure, freshness, and complexity. We got 25% Cinsault, and that's the fattiness and the fruit, and a little bit of Grenache for the spice. Very first red this month is from Domaine de la Ronze. And this is the Régnié Vigne 2019, made out of 100% Gamay. So Régnié is in the Beaujolais region. We have a map of France right here, and the Beaujolais region starts just south of the Mâconnais, or the southern Burgundy region. The Régnié is right there in green. Domaine de la Ronze, Cyril Bernardo is the winemaker, and he actually runs a domain with his sister, Karine Ducrozet. Cyril Bernardo is actually taking over the winemaking from his father in the mid-90s, and he is the born son over 8 generations. The vines have been in the family since the 1700s, but it was only transferred from father to daughter. There were no sons born, and every time it would change name. So Cyril and Karin's father actually created Domaine de la Ronze, and in order for it to retain its identity. So there's Domaine de la Ronze is a pretty new vineyard, and but created in the 80s, but the vines have been the same family for several generations. And then we actually have a video of Cyril telling us about the wine and his lovely region.
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue en Beaujolais, à Régnié. Je m'appelle Cyril Bernardo, domaine de la Ronze, vigneron indépendant. Je suis la 7e génération du domaine avec Karine, ma sœur, à reprendre le domaine familial. Nous produisons les appellations Régnié, Côte de Bruit et Morgon, ainsi que des Beaujolais villages Rouge et Beaujolais villages Blanc. Je vais vous parler aujourd'hui de notre cuvée Régnié Perle de la Ronze, vieille vigne, qui est issue des plus vieilles vignes de notre domaine, sont des vignes qui ont entre 50 et 80 ans d'âge. Ici, on se situe sur un des secteurs où on produit cette vieille vigne, qui représente à peu près 4 hectares. C'est des vignes en fait qui vont faire l'objet d'une attention particulière de la taille de la vigne jusqu'à la récolte. Toute la récolte est manuelle, ainsi que le tri avant l'encuvage. Et cette cuvée là sera vinifiée et va macérer en cuve pendant 8 à 12 jours en fonction de l'année et du potentiel du millésime. Donc tout voilà de retour dans notre chai de production. Donc on va pour faire une dégustation du Régnié vieille vigne. Donc le Régnié vieille vigne, en fait on est sur des couleurs rubis profonds, un rouge très intense. Au nez, donc on perçoit un vin qui va être très discret au premier nez, et dès qu'on tourne un petit peu le verre, on ressent à nouveau, et là on a vraiment l'arôme du vin qui va s'exprimer, et là on est sur des notes de fruits noirs, voire même après en vieillissant un petit peu ces notes de sous-bois, très agréable. À la dégustation, donc on va retrouver un côté de fruits noirs, un petit peu la mûre, la prune. Voilà, donc cette cuvée là en fait pourra se garder en cave entre 5 et 10 ans. Et bien pour ce soir, pour le dîner, je vous souhaite à tous une bonne dégustation. Je vous ai parlé de mon vin, mais le mieux c'est que ce soit vous qui le dégustiez et qui jugiez de la qualité de notre vin. Je vous souhaite une bonne dégustation et une bonne soirée.
Well, very last red this month is our Châteauneuf-du-Pape from Domaine du Père Caboche, 2019. So as a reminder, Châteauneuf-du-Pape is right here in the heart of the Southern Rhone Valley. Southern Rhone Valley, always Grenache based, and for the very most of the time is a blend, and in this case it's no surprise. This is the actually the Lacro vineyard, which is part of Père Caboche. Is one of their parcel, and it's with its famous galets roulés, those rolled pebbles. Wine is 80% Grenache, 15% Syrah, 5% Mourvèdre. In Châteauneuf-du-Pape, you can have actually up to 13 different varietals blended in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, including some white varietals. This one is pretty straightforward. It's classic GSM. And as you can see, it drinks well at a younger age, and it's strictly a winemaker profile. Émilie Boisson is a woman winemaker. She's taken over from her father. The actual estate was came on in the 1777 into the family, where Elisabeth Chambelin married Émile Boisson. And the Caboche comes from, at the time, the family was part winemaker and part blacksmiths. And Caboche comes from the second part, the blacksmith. The Caboche is actually the regional name of the little nails that fix horseshoes on the bottom. Théophile, our father, Emily's father, was actually fatherless at 3 years old, and there was nobody to teach him the blacksmith trade. So his father kind of taught him how to love wines, and he became a winemaker instead, but he did retain his nickname of Caboche. So from there, the Domaine du Père Caboche was born. Emily has since taken over and is doing a beautiful job. You'll see her right here in that video harvesting the 2020 vintage.
Voici les vendanges au domaine du Père Caboche à Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Ici, nous sommes sur une parcelle à la Croix, donc un lieu-dit de Châteauneuf-du-Pape, très fameux pour les galets roulés. Et donc là, nous sommes en train de vendanger une vieille parcelle, essentiellement composée de grenache. Et nous avons également beaucoup d'autres cépages en faible quantité, mais il y en a également beaucoup. Et là, ici, voici la table de tri. Donc, nous effectuons le tri sur le tracteur. Les raisins qui ne sont pas assez mûrs sont mis dans ce seau qui va ensuite aller dans le tracteur qui est derrière nous, donc le tracteur du tri, qu'on ne mettra pas en Châteauneuf-du-Pape, bien entendu, qui ira en vin de table.
I hope that you enjoy that particular Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and I will leave you with a small history of Châteauneuf-du-Pape itself. Thank you, and cheers. We'll see you next month.
C'est au XIVe siècle que le pape Jean XXII a lié pour toujours l'histoire de Châteauneuf-du-Pape à celle de la papauté. Pendant plus d'un siècle, 9 papes vont se succéder à Avignon et faire de fréquents séjours à Châteauneuf-du-Pape, qui acquiert ainsi une nouvelle renommée. Charmant petit village de 2000 habitants, niché entre Orange et Avignon, il est bordé par le Rhône et dominé par le mont Ventoux. De Jean XXII à nos jours, Châteauneuf-du-Pape inspirera de grands hommes. Parmi eux, Frédéric Mistral, le fait libre, mais aussi le baron Leroy de Boiseau-Marié, qui participera en 1935 à la création des appellations d'origine contrôlée. Les 3200 hectares arides et ventés du vignoble présentent une diversité de sols, des sables aigrets rouges au nord-est, aux éclats calcaires qui bordent le Rhône, en passant par les fameux galets roulés des hautes terrasses caillouteuses. Ce sont ces terroirs qui permettent à chaque vigneron de participer à la création d'un vin solaire, complexe et généreux. Au cœur de l'été provençal, le long souffle du Mistral a un effet bénéfique sur la qualité des raisins, y concentrant sucre, tanins et arômes. La richesse des vins de Châteauneuf-du-Pape, constituée à 94% de vins rouges et à 6% de vins blancs, est aussi liée à ces 13 cépages. Le grenache reste souvent dominant, apportant sucrosité et notes de fruits noirs, ainsi qu'une capacité exceptionnelle des vins au vieillissement. Le Mourvèdre relève d'un grain de poivre les saveurs animales de la Syrah. Le Cinsault apporte sa fraîcheur. Quant aux autres cépages, ils participent par petites touches à la tradition de l'assemblage. La production de ce grand vin nécessite un profond respect de la vigne, des rendements très faibles, la vendange manuelle et le tri obligatoire permettent à l'appellation de rester fidèle à l'exigence de qualité de ses pairs. Aujourd'hui, près de 25% du vignoble est cultivé en agriculture biologique. Dans le silence des caves, les vins vont s'affiner dans les traditionnelles foudres de chêne qui leur conféreront équilibre et potentiel de garde. Parfois, la truffe se cache au fond du verre. D'autres fois, ce sont les épices et les notes de cuir qui vont exprimer la maturité de ce grand vin. Quant au blanc, jeune, il respire la vivacité des fleurs du printemps. Plus âgés, ils exhaleront des notes de fruits secs. En 1937, pour garantir la mise en bouteille à la propriété, les vignerons créent une bouteille frappée à la tiare papale et des clés de Saint-Pierre. Depuis, elle continue d'exhiber avec fierté ses nobles armoiries. Au fil du temps, les vignerons ont su séduire les marchés étrangers, qui plébiscitent ces vins méditerranéens associés à l'art de vivre à la française. Aujourd'hui, 70% des vins sont vendus au-delà de nos frontières. Les consommateurs du monde entier ont fait de Châteauneuf-du-Pape un vin mythique, issu d'un terroir fabuleux. De Tokyo à Manhattan, les nouveaux marchés du vin résonnent du même désir de retour aux sources, aux origines du goût.